Hi, my name is Adreno Ortiz, and today I'm going to be talking about King John I. I get into my central question and all my evidence for my central question. I'd like to go over some basic facts about King John. John was born on December 24th, 1167 CE, the youngest out of all his siblings. He was born to King Henry II. His full name was John Lackland. Fun fact, his nickname was Lackland because he had no land, and that was also his last name. Ruled from 1199 CE to 1216 CE. And obviously, King John was the King of England. According to barons, King John governed England with disregard for their traditional privileges. He basically just ignored and did not celebrate traditions. He also encouraged and made others not celebrate the privileges that barons had, pointing to where King John only respected himself and is the only one who should have traditional privileges or just power in general. Because of his disregard for barons, there were at least 40 barons who forced him to sign the Magna Carta. If he didn't, he would lose their loyalty and they would kill him. Magna Carta was a signed document including their rights and their privileges that he had to follow and understand. It happened to be a signed peace treaty. John died in 1216 CE. His son, Henry III, took over, and then the Magna Carta was changed and amended. It proves that the only reason they had a Magna Carta was because of John and his obsession with power and money. John was rather a tyrant than a king. He lost many territories. John was also known as evil, murderous, and a cruel monarch. Evidence I'm pointing toward also shows how John was a paranoid, merciless, and heavily-handed guy. John's unpredictable character obviously shows his personal morality was questionable. At the time, he was a very twisted and, minded man. He wasn't meant to be king. King John killed Arthur I in a drunken rage. What people don't talk about is he had a reason to do it. There was the head of a rebellion against him. People believe the kingdom John had was a great state and he made it terrible. But a fun fact actually is it was a terrible state and it was falling apart. Of course, it was because Richard I was just trying to sell the land for a couple dimes. John's empire was incredibly unstable and had terrible economic issues before he even had power, yet people still blamed him, and that obviously made him mad. He couldn't pay it, so he negotiated a peace treaty with Philip II, also known as Philip Augustus. Fun fact, because of his peace treaty, John had earned himself another nickname. His new nickname was Soft Sword. The truce gave stability, legitimacy, and security. And John had soon lost the Normandy and Anjou wars, which clouded his success. The loss was no small due because of the lack of leadership and poor decision-making. He could display military talent. He developed the English Navy. After that, he began building strength and reorganizing the English fleet. King John wasn't actually the top of his military leaderboard when it compared to his brother and father and just family in general, but he did win the Battle of Bouvines? I do not know exactly how to say that, but it'll be right here somewhere. Anyways, yes. Because of John, later in 1215 BC, a year before he died, an army had formed in the northern part of England. It wasn't a good army. He had to offer them talks and different way of ruling the country. It is the army of barons that actually started the Magna Carta, as I had explained before. It comes down to my opinion. King John was not a good person. He was this terrible person. He murdered people who didn't like him. Of course, did affect his ruling and how people liked him. I'll say, England was falling, and he picked it up and swept it off its feet. He did happen to fix England. The essential question isn't, was he a good person? No. I'll say, his personality did affect the way he ruled, including the way he disregarded traditional privileges. I will say that. He did affect that in a bad way. Asking if he was a good ruler. And I'd say he did fix England. So I'd say yes, he's a good ruler. He fixed England. He did it in a terrible way, but somehow he managed it. And I mean, it was him, just him. If he was a better person, he could be even better ruler, but of course that's not what happened. Thanks so much for your time. Goodbye. I truly hope I get a good grade. I know others may have a different opinion. He wasn't a good person. It did affect his ruling with traditional privileges, but if you're talking army-wise and how long he kept the ruling lasting, he did affect that greatly. Thank you for watching, and bye.